Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ask Dr. Renee show. I am your host, Dr. Renee, and we are here tonight with Drew Sidora. Drew Sidora is one of the stars of the new movie, Sister Code. Sister Code comes out this Friday, and we're going to talk about it, but we want everyone to go see it. She's in that movie with her other two sisters, Amber Rose and Eva Marcel. So we're going to definitely talk about that, but we're going to also talk about her journey to how she got to where she is. If this is your first time tuning in, this show is here to motivate and inspire you to live the life that you deserve. Everyone deserves to be happy. There's no one that does not deserve that. So we want you to live the life you deserve and motivate you to go and live your dreams. This is not a dress rehearsal. This is it. This is the one life you have. So why wait till tomorrow? Do it right now. And you never know what could happen. You could end up whatever, living your dream life. So if you haven't watched the show before, please go and watch our YouTube channel, Ask Dr. Renee, and you can see the past episodes. This past Sunday, we had Lynette Payne. This is our Mother's Day week. So we had Chrisette Michelle's mom, Lynette Payne, and she gave us a lot of great wisdom. And I know Drew also, even being a new mommy with a little one, I know she has wisdom too for Mother's Day week as well. Tomorrow, Mother's Day week, we have Tasha Scott, a child actress who is now a mother. And then Friday, we have Umi Sharon Smith, Mos Def's mom, who is also a wonderful mother. And then on Sunday, our big surprise guest is my mommy, the Reverend Joyce Matthews, will be on the show with me, which this is going to be a first. And I'm so excited because it's going to be really good. But we're going to have an awesome time tonight. So let's get started. Welcome to the show, Drew.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you for taking time because I know you're busy with press because the movie does come out Friday. So we're excited you took time to talk to us.
Definitely.
So what was your ambition as a child?
Wow. I had a lot of ambition as a child. I definitely would say it was passion. It was innate. I was born with this desire to entertain people. So I can remember as far back as age 3, learning to play the piano. I was trained in Suzuki Piano Method, which is classical music. I would take the video camera, my dad's video camera oftentimes, and videotape myself singing, dancing, doing whatever. And I taped over a lot of weddings. I got in a lot of trouble. Taped over family reunions. They go to stick in the tape and this me singing or something.
Yes.
So it was something that the family knew was just inside of me. And it was a very big passion of mine. And so my mom really supported me and encouraged me to get involved with ballet, jazz, tap at a very young age. My sister Allison, who's actually also my manager, shout out to Allison. I think she's listening. She actually encouraged my mom, and my mom worked very diligently to teach me the ropes of the industry, got me an agent at age 8. And I was auditioning for different roles in the city of Chicago. I did a lot of voiceovers. I trained in theater. I was in acting classes and just really took every opportunity that I could in Chicago. So it went from this child with this just innocent passion of just, kind of forcing my family to take notice, really, and have them believe in me. And I have to say it was truly the support of my family that really gave me the confidence to take it on to a professional career.
That is wonderful that they were so behind you because I'm sure, there's a lot of parents that are like, that's a little crazy. Not everyone does that. That's not realistic, but that's good that you trained to do it. I also learned piano at a very young age as well. I started at 5 playing the piano, so I understand. And so that's cool that you did do all that and you were ready. So when did you make the big leap to go to LA? Because let me say first, our lovely city of Chicago, I being a transplant, but you being homegrown, Chicago has a lot of opportunity here. Please do not sleep on Chicago. It's a great place to get started. Keke Palmer started here. A lot of the Second City people from Saturday Night Live started here. There's so many people that started in Chicago because there's so much to do here in Chicago. So, but you wanted to go bigger, I'm sure. And, probably at that time, they weren't doing as many movies in Chicago as they are now. There's tons of TV shows filming in Chicago now, tons of movies. But so when did you make that leap to go to LA?
And that's exactly correct. Like, you know, now we are a big film city. A lot of things are filmed in Chicago, not even filmed in Los Angeles. At that time, you know, at age 8, my sister was in Los Angeles. She was a writer for A-Man, Rock, and we would come visit her, you know, as family does. And she would take me out to the little events and, oh, I got this audition for Drew. And I remember I booked my first role, which was a Foxx movie of the week called Divas. And it starred Khalil K, Ari Parker, Nicole Carson. And that was my first major role. And I'm on set. And that was true inspiration because it was right in my face. And I'm like, this is what I want to do, you know, as a career. That was probably the first time that I knew this is what I would be doing in my life. And I went back home to Chicago. My parents were like, education first, that's important. And I always had this inside of me. I got to get back to LA because that was the first glance of what I got of the real industry and being on set and making a movie. So I worked really hard in school. My parents were like, all right, we'll make a deal. You can go back to LA for the summer after you graduate if you get good grades before you start college. I was like, okay. So I really focused. And not only did I get good grades, I graduated early with all honors. And I figured now I have an extra semester plus the summer. That's the way I think, to really get my feet wet. So I went to LA at 17 years old. And when I think back, I'm like, how did I do it? I left my family, my friends. I didn't go to my senior prom, you know, just so many things. But I was really, truly focused on what it was that I was passionate about. And I did the whole coming out to LA, stayed with friends, slept on their floor, had the air mattress, you know, standing in lines for extra work. My sister setting me up with different meetings, just meetings after meetings, just really out here grinding, trying to, you know, make my way. And after about a year, when it was time for me to start college, I went in for Robbie Reed, who's a big casting director, for an audition for Never Die Alone, which was my first film starring DMX and David Arquette. And I booked it. And it was literally like, you're leaving next week or you've got to enroll in school. And I did. I enrolled in Santa Monica and booked the movie. It's like, okay, this is meant to be. And from that point on, I was doing school as well as auditioning. And then my next film, White Chicks, took me to Canada. So it was just really God letting me know this is what I'm meant to do. He gifted me with it. I don't know where it came from, but it was definitely something gifted from God. And I was very passionate, and it worked out. I mean, it took a lot of work and dedication. It didn't happen overnight. So I definitely have to remember the times that I didn't have a car. You know, I was taking the bus. I didn't have my own place to live. I was, you know, sleeping on air mattresses and trying to figure out where I'm going to sleep. When kids my age were worrying about parties and prom, I was thinking about, okay, where am I getting my next meal? So it was real, because you never want to tell your parents, it's not working out. They'll say, okay, we'll come home or we're going to come get you. So it was just really me believing in myself. I had a lot of times, you know, casting directors tell me, you know, you're just not good enough. You need to go and work harder, or you're too light, or you're too dark, or you're too tall, or too short, whatever it may be. You know, I really had to get thick skin and just continue to have that confidence and have that support of my family to really rally around me. But in order to get that, I had to believe in myself first. So
definitely. What about, you said you had an agent in Chicago. Now, could that agent, were they able to help you later on in LA, or you just had to just get out there? And
my agent in Chicago, Stewart Talent Agency, anyone in the city, I always refer kids. Yeah, kids that, you know, moms and kids that want to act, we always refer Stewart. They were the ones that gave me my start in Chicago. And we still have a great relationship to this day. They've signed a couple of my, you know, referrals and cousins and friends and things like that. And they had reciprocity in Los Angeles. So when I did make that transition, they did have, you know, people I could meet with, but it wasn't like I walked right in and they were dying to sign me. They're like, who are you? You're from Chicago. And then what? So it's still, it still took me really having to prove myself to people in Los Angeles that I was worthy of the opportunity. Just give me a chance. So sometimes it was going 2, 3, 4 times in their face, you know, remember me, I'm still here, I'm not giving up, for them to really take notice and see how dedicated I was. And I have to say, my family calling for me and, you got to see my daughter, you got to see my sister, she's incredible, you know, just that persistence, and me just never giving up and saying, you know what, I'm coming home, this is too hard. So
yeah, well, you're right. It takes persistence, especially in this business. It takes persistence,
yes,
to win, and it also takes you have to have thick skin because you're going to get way more no's than you get of yeses.
Exactly.
But it's the right yeses that'll get you where you need to be. And you have to realize that their rejection is God's protection. I know that your mother is a minister just like my mother is.
Yes.
So I know that I believe in God as well.
PKs.
Right, exactly. So yeah, it's very important. Their rejection is God's protection. That wasn't for you. That's all.
Exactly.
It wasn't for you. It was for, somebody else.
Exactly.
But the one thing I can say about your career is that you may not have been the main star, but you have consistently been working for how many years now?
Wow. When I think back, I'm like, yeah, it's been 14 years, and including my first job at age 8, it's been 11, 12 years now. So it's been well over a decade of consistent work, which in this industry, especially as an African-American actress, you definitely want longevity. And that's what I've really had to embrace. A lot of people are looking for that instant stardom. They're looking to the overnight success. But I have to say, I enjoy the journey of the struggle and the growing, because through struggle, you make mistakes, but you grow and you get better and you are able to learn. So you don't go straight to the top, because once you go there, if you're not equipped with the right knowledge and education, you'll fall. So I'm really starting to embrace the journey and look at it as a blessing that it's been a consistent journey of work. And it hasn't been all perfect, but I can look down and be proud of every project I've done, every role that I've taken, and really know that I've given every step along the way just my 110% all.
That's a wonderful thing. And it's a really important that people understand that it's not overnight. Just because you didn't see her, and just one day all of a sudden you saw her on TV, there was a whole bunch of behind the scenes and training and stuff that went into that, unfortunately, especially with the age of YouTube, and actually your sister was talking about this last night. I went to a panel discussion last night that Allison Jordan was on amongst other people that were, and we got to see clips of Sister Code. And it was really important to hear that in this age of YouTube and Twitter and Instagram and stuff, it is so important to understand that you probably should get some training before you, blow up, because you want to make sure that you stay up. You don't want to blow up and then be a one-hit wonder, or you do that one show or have that 1 million view video and then you're gone. Because nowadays in the industry, that they just don't, the longevity is not there. They're not going to sign you to some 6-record deal, and you might have an agent one day and then somebody else comes in and you don't the next. So you really need to broaden your horizons, make sure you have the education and you understand exactly what you're doing so that you can keep growing. Because like I said, you've been consistently working and it's like more and more screen time. And then now you've got Sister Code, which, you're one of the main 3 actresses. So that's wonderful.
Yes.
So first of all, who wrote Sister Code? It just came out of nowhere. Honestly, I just started seeing the stuff because your sister was posting it. And then now this week I'm seeing all this stuff. I'm like, oh my goodness, where'd it come from?
Exactly. I want to charge my computer, so I just need to plug it in 2 seconds.
It's okay. Okay. We wouldn't want it to die. So that's
we wouldn't want it to die. Okay. We're back in action. There we go. Okay. I'm not going anywhere. Okay. Yeah. So Sister Code was a film that we did last year. Amber Rose, the lovely Eva Marcel. And what really drew me to the project was the positive message. It was about sisterhood. It was about women uplifting each other, coming together. And right now, unfortunately, on television and film, you don't see a lot of us women uplifting each other and supporting one another. So that's what really drew me to the project is, wow, we can see African-American women loving each other and supporting one another. And though not always getting along, but from the relationship that's there, the bond and the love, they can come together and just help each other through any circumstance. So that's what the film is really, and I'm hoping people, when they go see the movie, they can take this away. The movie is funny. Don't get me wrong. It's hilarious. It's funny. It's sexy, but it's also touching. And my character, LaVey, I am one of the sisters struggling with lupus. And so I felt like I had a great responsibility to really research that and even bring awareness to lupus and how it affects our community and really educate people. So it's been really positive. And I'm just hoping that people will gain awareness of that. We've been raising money for lupus as well. So I'm excited. I had a lot of fun working with the girls. This is Amber Rose's debut. So, what else could I ask for?
So who is behind the scenes of this movie? Who wrote the movie, directed, and all that fun stuff?
Actually, our director is from Chicago, Corey Grant.
Oh.
So another Chi-Town. And that was another reason I'm very familiar with his work. He's done a lot of great projects. And so working with him was just awesome. Obviously working with somebody from my hometown. Phaedra Harris casted the film, who's very notable. Actually, Dwayne Martin is one of our executive producers. So you see him make a little cameo. Don Hale, who's also up and coming. And honestly, it was some young African-American brothers that produced this film. One of them went to Harvard and they just grinded it out. They really believed in the project. And so for that reason, I felt like I had to support it because they are the millennials that you will see, 10 years from now making great projects. So just to be a part of their beginning, I felt like, that what an awesome way for us to come together. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. So in the front of the screen, we got the sister code, but in the back of the screen, sounds like we got the brother code because you got Dwayne Martin.
You got the brother code
for these, these young brothers. So that's wonderful.
Exactly. So just to be, it's just about forming a hood. I like that, brotherhood, sisterhood, and that's the film, Sister Code. So it drops, May 8th, Friday. We have the premiere tomorrow here in Los Angeles. So I'm really excited.
Yes, everyone, please make sure you go see this movie. Like I said, I've seen clips, and then we had a trailer for this show tonight from the movie that it looks hilarious. And actually, I recognize the little girl that plays Lexi, Amber Rose's character.
Yes.
The little girl from Poetic Justice.
Yes.
Like, why does that girl look so familiar? And I said, oh my God, that was Tupac's little girl.
Yep. We had a lot of great cast members come through. Essence Atkins is in the film. Marcus Polk, the little brother from Alicia came in. And I mean, we have I don't want to spoil it, but a lot of great appearances in the film. And you see my sister Allison, around town talking about sisterhood, but I come from a family where it's 4 girls. So I have 3 sisters. We have a very strong bond. And that was another reason why, this film really hit home for me because I grew up around, sisters and us having to get through situations. And, you always don't get along as siblings. You have that rivalry. But like I said, I mean, my mother's my business manager. My sister's my manager. My other sister, Krista, she is my legal advisor. And so she's looking over my contracts. My younger sister is my nanny, for my little son. So we really have not only a sisterhood on a personal level, but on a business level. So we're very, very close. We all talk, at least 3, 4, 5 times a day to each other. And sisterhood is very, very important. And that's what the event my sister was a part of yesterday in Chicago was really uplifting the sisters of Chicago to come together. So I appreciate you for having me on. It's very profound that, we can just continue to uplift each other and support one another.
Definitely. And like I said, sisterhood is very important to me because I have a little sister who I think is the most amazing human being ever. And we don't live in the same state and haven't in years, but you would never know it because I know exactly what's going on in her life every minute and she knows in mine. And I put a quote, Ebony Magazine was asking for quotes about sister code. And I said, our sister code is we always have each other's back.
Yep.
I don't ever remember not speaking to the girl, maybe when I was a teenager a little bit, but we've always been, we don't get mad at each other, it's just whatever. And my sister, I'm mad she's not watching tonight, but she's usually watching every episode live, but she's doing some important business tonight. But she is my executive producer, I tell everyone.
Wow.
That girl will sit there and email me a list of, you'll never do that again. Don't say that again. Don't never gives a positive, but she will tell me exactly what I've done wrong. She'll text me while I'm on air and say, don't say that again. Stop doing that.
I love it.
And they pop up on my screen, my text messages. So I'll read it and be like, oh, okay. And so,
I love it.
So it's honestly like she's sitting right here. So it's hilarious.
You got me looking at my phone because that sounds exactly like what my sister, I'm like, let me check my phone actually. Because that sounds like exactly what my sister Allison would do.
Right. So so I completely understand. And like I said, I can't wait to see the movie because the clips I have seen, it has looked hilarious, but at the same time, it looks like it is going to be touching. And me being a doctor too, I like that, that you're pregnant in the movie. So I'm like, oh, cool, it's going to be a baby.
Exactly. Yes,
Yeah.
a lot going
So
on.
I'm excited. So because it's Mother's Day week here, so did you always want to be a mother?
I did. As young women, we always look forward to that day that, you get married and you fall in love and you have a family. And I have to say, just in my career, I've been so dedicated, and I think back, I've not taken a vacation, I don't think, ever. I come home a lot. People that are from Chicago know they will see me, especially in the summer at the Taste. I frequent Chicago any chance because all my family is there. So it was always me just being rooted at home and really just looking at the family element. My parents have been married for 53 years. So that's the example that I grew up watching and desiring. So that element and that balance is what I've always looked for. So just working so hard, being so focused in my career, I was always waiting for the day that I could start a family. And having my son has been the biggest blessing in my life. I mean, it really changed me. It made me realize it's not really about me. And he gave me this purpose that now everything I do, I feel like is for him. And the decisions I make, I'm always, thinking about him. And so it's been great. Actually, my son, he was in TLC movie. So that's a little trivia right there. A lot of people don't know, but they actually, he played my daughter. He has a head full of curly hair. So we have to admit that. We laugh about that a lot. But yeah, having a son now, I mean, being a mother, it is my pride and joy. It is my priority in life. So now so much work comes secondary, and I've been blessed to be able to take him, and he travels with me. So it's been great because I can't leave him for too long. So being a mom, it's crazy. He's 4 now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
We actually came back to Chicago. He wanted to have his birthday party at church, at my mom's church, and he's got it right. So he wanted to have his birthday party at church with all his friends and his cousins, and that's what we did. So he had a big 4-year-old birthday bash.
Well, that's wonderful. That's fabulous. So of course you said, you wanted to get married. So you're married. How did you meet your husband? I love love stories. So I always ask the people that.
He tells the story the best, but I think I can do. He's a great storyteller, but I think I do all right. So my husband, yes, we met actually in November of 13. And it was when I was on the TLC press tour. My sister Allison and I were together. Talk about sisterhood. Look at this.
Right.
We were pulling up to the hotel valet, and my lights literally shined on him. And my sister and I were like, okay. He had a friend with him, and you see all these people, they're dressed up in like gowns and everything. We're like, what's going on at our hotel? And so she gets out and she's asking people, they're like, it's this NBA gala. We were having a gala. We're like, oh, okay. So we get out of the car, and my son, Josiah, drops his football, and it's like rolling in the middle of the street. And so my husband says he looked at us and is like, they look so discombobulated. Let me help this woman. So he grabs the football and they start playing football. And he's like, okay, let's play football, little man. I'm just standing there and I'm watching them have this interaction, and they're tossing the ball. And then I'm just like, okay, Josiah, let's go. And we walk back in the hotel, and my sister's like, you're crazy. See, that's the kind of man you need, and that's who you need to date, and what's wrong with you? And I'm like, well, he didn't say anything. So when it comes, I'm very shy. I'm like, look, if he didn't approach me, I'm not going to push myself on him. I don't know what you want me to say. So she's like, well, I got this. So she turns around and she goes and she's talking to him, and I see her hands just from a distance, and she's talking to him. And I'm just like, I'm so embarrassed at this point. And so we're in the hotel lobby, and I see them walking towards us, and I'm like, oh, what has Allison done? What has she said to him? And so he walks in and he introduces himself, and we get to talk and exchange information, and lost contact after that just because I was so busy and traveling. And when I did come back to LA for a project, my girlfriend was like, you're working so hard. You haven't gone on any dates. I mean, you have to take time for yourself. And literally like a strong vision came of him in the suit. And I'm like, I did meet this guy, and I'm going through my phone, like, what is his name? And I had his name, and I see, okay, Ralph, LA NBA suit, right? That's how I had his name. Of course, but there he is. So I, ended up reconnecting, and our first date was a lunch date, and it was 12 hours. 12-hour date.
Wow.
It was lunch. So we ended up talking from like 3 and just talking. Just everything that we were saying just was connecting. And I remember having this overwhelming feeling of just, is this how it happens? Is this how it feels? Because everything he said lined up with the things that I desired and that I felt like I needed. And we were together literally every day since our first date. It hasn't been a day.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So of course, when my family met him, you know, they loved him. He's a minister of music at our church. And so he is into music. He plays piano. And he's not in the industry, so he's businessman, executive, and very different. So we always are learning from one another. And so it's just been wonderful. He proposed and we ended up getting married on the beach with our pastor and myself and my son and Josiah. And it was beautiful. So I'm really happy. And I just feel like right now I have it all. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
And I'm just very thankful, very thankful.
Anybody that wants to ask questions, if you're watching on YouTube, there's a box in there. It says be a participant. Click on that. And then in the upper right-hand corner, you will see white boxes. There's 9 boxes. Just click on that icon. Then you'll see Q&A. Click on Q&A, and then it'll drop down on the right-hand side of your screen. At the bottom, it'll say ask a question, and ask your question. Otherwise, you can tweet me questions at Ask Dr. Renee, which is right there on the screen. You can tweet questions to me there, and I will do my best to see them via my phone or my computer. But if you do the Q&A, it'll pop up right on the screen right here in front of me. So I so appreciate if you would just do it that way. Thank you so much. But that is really a beautiful story. I love it.
Thank you.
But, you know, and it's good that he's business, because then you guys can build an empire.
Exactly. You know? That's important, right? Especially in this industry.
Especially in our community. We need to be the next Rockefellers and, you know, the Pritzkers. I know you're familiar with that name. And,
exactly.
You know, we need that in our community. So
exactly. And definitely in Chicago, I'm a really big advocate on being involved in the community. I have a foundation, Dreammakers, which I'm really excited about. And we actually did our launch in the Roseland community. And I do a lot of work with Pastor Joe and Father Flager. And I have to say that a lot of people who have come out to our events, I do workshops throughout the year for the young girls, just really giving them an outlet creatively to express themselves. So I've been blessed to do events where I have Andrea Kelly from Hollywood Exes do a choreography workshop, teaching the girls to be confident in their bodies and in their skin, no matter their size, but just being confident in how they were created and who they are and embracing that. My workshop is teaching the girls how to really connect with their emotions through, you know, theatrical workshops. I'm teaching the girls different acting methods, but it's really about connecting with your emotions and things that you may have gone through, how you can heal of that in a healthy way so that you can go back to those emotions in those places and deliver it through a character. My mother, who's a pastor, she does a counseling workshop. I've had some Miss Americas come through and do hygiene and beauty talks to teach these young women how to properly apply makeup, how to clean their faces, how to take care of their bodies and hygiene and all that stuff. And we get really real with the girls. And I remember a lot of the young women coming in, you know, had their heads down. They weren't really talking. And after they go through the workshops, I mean, there were girls that had their back straight and they were just like snapping their fingers and just their confidence. You saw just in one day how much they're needing that inspiration and just someone to talk to. So being in the community is like, Dreammakers is my baby. So obviously people listening, please go and support. You can go to dreammakers.org and just support Facebook Dreammakers as well, and get involved to volunteer and just get in the know of the different things that we're doing in the city. So please support.
We'll include the links to all of that below this video in the comment box, so you'll be able to get right to her website, that website, and everything. So you can be right linked in. And also the Sister Code has a wonderful website, so you can find out exactly where it's playing, and you can see all their social media. They've been having some contests you might want to enter. So
yes, definitely got some cool giveaways too. So make sure you do that.
So and you know, you want to get, because you might be able to get free tickets to the movie this weekend. You just never know. So you definitely want to check that out.
Definitely.
So did you, in your research about your role, me being a doctor, I just have to ask, what did you learn about lupus, and did you know anything about it before you played this character?
I knew a little bit. I had a sister-in-law who actually passed away from lupus. So, I mean, I just remember different things she went through. And, you know, doing the film, there were specific scenes where I'm in the doctor's office, or I was having certain symptoms that I had to research so I could fully understand, but just how it affects the body. And For my character specifically, I was pregnant. So that brought a whole other element, because they say, just like sickle cell, and I kind of referred back to playing T-Boz, and just the effects that you can have on your body when you are expecting, or they say you can't even conceive. So when you do, then there are other complications on top of the lupus that you do have. And that's what puts you at even greater risk for complications. And, without giving too much of the film away, that's really the part of the film that drew me, because it does get a little touching, but it does bring awareness to people in that way. But I think the positive outlook that my character had, she's very strong, and again, just believing in love, believing in her journey and her ability to overcome things with her sisters there is the beautiful part of the film that you'll see. Without that, let me
right.
Yeah.
So you did mention something else that, of course, we have to talk about. My sister was the biggest TLC fan I think that there was to be. And then we met a young lady who actually ended up being our first client, and she was, next to my sister, the biggest Left Eye fan.
Love it.
And I'll never forget the day my mother came. We were actually both at home, and my mother came and told us that Left Eye died, and we just were like, "What are you saying?"
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. But you were in that movie, and I was so excited the movie was being made. And then when I found out you were in it, I was like, oh my God, like that's Allison's sister. Oh
right. Allison's sister in the movie. What? I love it. Because that is just, and that's what I love about my city. I feel like Chicago supports me so much, to the point where they see my struggles. They know everything about me. When I book a role, listen, I was in Chicago when I booked the role, and that just lets you know how you said earlier about the industry changing and how there's so much work in Chicago. And now you don't necessarily even have to be in LA. I was in Chicago when the audition came through, and I was like, this is an opportunity I can't miss out. I've been a huge fan of TLC since I was a little girl. So how can I make this work? My mother ended up putting me on tape in her bathroom. We hung like a white sheet behind me, and my mother read the other lines. We got it in and sent the tape in, and technology is great for that as well. But I booked the role from the city of Chicago. So when I booked it, everyone in the city knew and was just rallying and just believing in me. And it was my most challenging role. I mean, you don't want to disappoint the fans. You don't want to disappoint the actual members of the group. You got T-Boz and Chili on set, like watching you. And so it was a lot of pressure. But I think it definitely helped me to go to another level and just grow physically, getting in physical shape, because they were known for their incredible bodies and their six packs.
Sure were.
I had just had a baby. So I'm like, I went to my wardrobe fitting, and it got real because I couldn't fit, some of the clothes. We actually wore their costumes. So I was training very hard. I was doing working out twice a day on a very strict diet just to really accomplish that goal, which I did, which I was really happy.
Oh yes, you looked amazing.
Thank you. It was hard. It was like I said, very challenging, learning their dance moves. And not, I grew up dancing, so that wasn't the difficult part. We were Kiki, Lil Mom, myself, like, well, we got this, we dance. But it was learning how to dance like them, their mannerisms. So that was, a challenge. And then just attacking her emotions and really making sure I captured who Tian Watkins, the person, was. I think we all knew T-Boz, but really letting people into her personally, and also embracing her struggle, which was sickle cell, that a lot of people didn't know. I know myself as a huge TLC fan. I mean, giving her all on stage and then having to deal with the things that she dealt with, you never would have known. She wasn't ever a victim, and she walked in like, everything was peachy keen, and knowing they were struggling with the contracts and just the business side. It really made me even more humble, just to say I have no reason to complain, for if they were able to overcome all of those obstacles and still to this day, the #1 girl group of all times, which I didn't know initially. I mean, no one has done better numbers than TLC, not Spice Girls, not even Destiny's Child, which I didn't know that, but that really speaks to their spirit and their passion that, no matter the struggle, you can still rise above all of it and be #1. And so for the things that I go through, I'm like, this isn't a struggle. No one has struggled like Tian Watkins. So it really made me embrace, like I said earlier, my journey and my struggle, because it's really looking up one day and saying, wow, TLC's been here for how many years, celebrating their anniversary. And then myself looking back on my career saying, wow, that's the key to the success, is the journey.
Yes. And actually a little small footnote. So when you did the promo tour, my friend Shanti Das is good friends with Tian, and I think you met her. Yes, that's my big sister.
Of course. Wow.
Yes, I love Shanti.
World.
Shanti's been on my show. Yeah.
Nice. I did not know the connection there.
Yes.
So we are connected. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but yeah, you did a great job in that movie. You have to say your accolades for the movie. It's like the #1 movie for VH1 or something, right?
Definitely. It was the #1 rated show of all times on VH1.
Yeah.
Something crazy.
So, yeah, it was pretty
unbelievable.
Pretty big. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean it. And every time it comes on, I think people still watch it again because I see tweets and tweets. I know it's coming. It's on. So yes, great job.
Thank you.
Because I think everyone was worried that it's not going to be good.
And that's the thing, you never know. I mean, all you do, you kind of tune out what people may say. You turn off your phones, you don't get on the internet, and you just focus, but you never know how it's going to translate. But it felt good to know that we gave our all plus then some, and the chemistry you saw was real. It felt good doing it. And so I think that it paid off. People really can feel the truth in it all. So thank you. Thank you.
Great job. Also, I was a huge fan of the Gospel Music Channel. Now it's Up TV, but I got new cable, so I don't have the channel anymore. That just makes me mad. But I love The Other Sister, and it was more than one. Was it supposed to be a series, or was it just a bunch of movies?
What it was a play that they turned into like a staged play for television. GMC likes to do those, for people that like to go see plays, which are a very certain demographic. Well, now you don't have to go to the theater. You can watch it on television. And it was a play that they turned into just one stage play for TV that did so well and got the highest ratings that they turned it into like a mini series. So we actually went and filmed 8 more episodes. So we went down to Miami and got a chance to work together and do like a series. And so that was really interesting because that was also, I tell you, every project I've done has had a major impact in my life for some reason. And I've learned so much. So that was my first time working at such a high pace because theater is really just about one takes. And you're doing 100 pages literally in one take when you're on stage. Well, when they film these, they still wanted to have the same energy and impact. So we're still filming technically 100 pages in the course of one day. So even though it's cameras, normally you get cut and you get to do it again. For these, you kind of are doing them in one takes and it's going straight to film. So that was challenging because I'm used to, okay, I can get away and learn my 3 or focus on my 3 or 4 pages and I'll get a couple of tries at it. But those projects, I was like, oh my gosh, this is really tough. I got to learn all these lines and know all the movements. And so that was challenging. But now I can say, when I have to learn 5 pages, I'm like, oh, this is an easy day of work because that really prepared me and taught me and pushed my brain power and the memory of it all and just the reading comprehension of it all to really be able to get my character in a small amount of time. And time is money in this industry. So I have to say every project I've done has taught me a lot. And it's like boot camp every time. So I'm grateful for that because I mean, I always want to challenge myself with every role and see, okay, can I push myself further? What can I learn from this project? And I have to say those projects, as fun as they are, they were a lot of work.
Well, it had to be fun working with Jack A. Harry.
Jack A. Harry, who actually is one of my sister's good friends. I remember.
Oh, yes. She said that last night.
Yeah, Jack A. I've known her since I was like 8 years old. So she took me on the sister set and I, got to meet Tia and Tamara and that was awesome. So working with her, she was like, come on, baby. I was more like, she's auntie and I'm niece and she's watching Josiah for me and she's helping me through and schooling me. And Kalita Smith, who I love so much. She taught me a lot. She's a pro and gosh, talented. And so Jasmine Lewis, that Christian Keys, it's just a great, great cast. So I learned a lot from all of them.
Christian Keys is from Detroit.
But I know, and he is really from Detroit. He gave me his life story and he's very dynamic. And I've gotten a chance to work with him. We actually have 2 films coming out later this year. Carl Weber, who's a New York Times bestselling author.
No, you don't have to tell me.
Oh, you already know.
When I was in medical school, I lived in England. I had no television and there was no internet in my dorm room. And I had committed myself outside of my medical books. I was going to read Black authors and I was killing them. And he was one of them.
Got it.
So
Yeah.
I know Carl Weber. Yeah.
So he's phenomenal. His books have done amazing numbers. So now he's got the opportunity to turn them into screenplays. And I star in his first Preacher's Son that's dropping later this year, and The Choir Director with Christian Keys. So we got a chance. So I'm excited about those. So I would love to talk to you when those get ready to come out. Those are based on his books. So anyone that knows Carl Weber, look forward to the movie, because the books are crazy. So the movies are
they are.
Yeah.
They are. Yeah, they are. But they're really, but they're good. And actually, it's funny. You read them and you have the movie in your head. You're like, oh, so-and-so should be this person and so-and-so should be this person. So it's good to see it come, see that some of them come to the screen. Yeah, I love that.
You're going to love it. Absolutely.
Yeah. So what was it like working on the game? Especially, at its highest, when it was like, everyone was talking about it.
That was, oh my gosh. And this is another crazy story of how you really have to watch how you live, and you really have to be who you are and have integrity. So I was about 5 years old. My sister was in the industry working, and Mara Brock Akil came to my mom's house because she wanted to go to Hollywood. And I remember my sister kind of giving her advice and helping her in that way, and just giving her, whatever words of wisdom she could give her and connections they could share. And I was walking around the house saying, I want to be a star. I'm going to be a star. And so fast forward to, I'm auditioning in Los Angeles at age 19, and I go in for Girlfriends, and I end up booking the role, and I'm on set, and my sister Allison's with me, and she sees Mara Brock, who was the creator of Girlfriends, and they're screaming and they're hugging. And she's like, this is Drew. Wait. This is the Drew who was 5 years old, saying that I'm going to be a star. And so I didn't even remember that, but she told me the story. And she's like, I love that you kept at it and you really did what you said you were going to do. And so from that point forward, Mara really supported me and told us about the game. And I went in, and next thing you know, she's calling Allison saying, we want to write her in the show, because I got to say Drew Sidora. I played Drew Sidora, which, you normally play yourself when you're a huge star. So I'm like, I get to actually play myself, and wow, this just doesn't happen. And through that relationship that they had established years ago, kind of lent itself for that opportunity and that time. So I did, although have to go in and audition and prove myself in that way, not knowing Mara Brock Akil was actually an old friend of my sister's, and took that just notice of me really being persistent and dedicated in my career, and then took it further to support me in such a way, huge way, and give me that platform to let people know who I am. And so being on that show, I was just every day, like, I was in awe the game. And at that time I was in the first and second, third season. So I didn't know, it wasn't a huge hit yet. It hadn't aired. So I remember everyone on set, even Tia, as successful as she is, everyone was hoping the show would be good, hoping that it would be received by its fans. Having a ball. Hosea Chanchez is one of my best friends, and we actually struggled together before he booked the show. And I remember I auditioned with him and took him to the audition for the game. And Allison, my sister, got him the audition for the game. And so it was like family, being there with Mara and Hosea, and then Tia, like, oh, I met you when I was younger with Jack A. It was just all these connections, and playing myself. I felt right at home, and using my music, got a real opportunity to brand myself and let people know I am an actress, but I also do music. I'm a singer as well. And the world kind of started to take notice to who I was and my name. And I always thank Mara Brock for that opportunity, because that was like a huge blessing. So I've had a very unorthodox career, but like I say, everyone has their own journey, and that was just unexpected. So that's how the game came. But it was, and then to see the success that it had, to the point of people like, no, you're not canceling the show. It was very real. And Mara Brock took a very personal approach to where she would sit on the phone and ask, for certain stories or certain things would I be comfortable with, and, take real life situations and put them in the show. And I think that's why people fell in love with the show so much, because it was so relatable. Like, my character was the other woman, but how many women have been the other woman? I think we've all been the other woman, unfortunately, at some point. So people could relate to Tia's situation as well as my characters. And I think people just fell in love with it. It was just very real.
Yes, but your journey also is a testament to relationships, which this industry is a big on. And if your sister wasn't the person she was, then, you know, things might not have been okay when you showed up at the audition. They might have been like, oh, you know what I mean?
Oh, that's
So
her
really,
sister. She can
right,
leave.
exactly. So it's good, you know, it's really important. Networking is so important, but it's also really important. If you're just nice to everyone, you never have anything to worry about. And
Exactly.
I live by the golden rule. I'm nice to everybody, because the butt you kiss on the way up is the one that might be kicking you down, but you might need them. You never know. You might
And you
need them
never
again.
know. And it's just sisterhood. You know, it's enough work out here for everyone. So, you know, if my sister could help another one get on, you know, that's without a thought, and that's without question. Yeah. That's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to uplift one another, because when another sister wins, we're winning too.
We're all winning.
We're all winning. So I look at Scandal, I look at Kerry Washington's career, and I'm like, I want the numbers to keep going up, because that opens up more roles for us. You see Taraji P. Henson, you know, there's no reason as Black actresses for us to feel any type of way. We want to see more of us on television. Right. We want the numbers and the ratings.
And we want more of us to be these Oscar nominated,
exactly,
with, you know, actresses and actors.
Exactly. And that's what's going to happen. That'll be the result from us winning. So that just opens up the door. And as you've seen, we're seeing more and more of us on screen now, more than ever. So, and it's not just one story being told. Now you can be the wife, the mother, the friend, the leader, the prosecutor, you know, it's so many, it's so diverse. So I'm happy and I'm proud. So, you know,
and it is, there's a turn of the tide. And I'm sure you've been reading all this stuff they've been talking about with the whole ethnicity coming on television and film, but we still have a long way to go. So we do need to keep working at it. But I know that, you know, I know great things are coming, especially when there's all these new networks and they need content.
Yes.
And why not tell our stories? They love everything else about us. Why not tell our stories, right?
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
We have some questions from a Miss Allison Jordan.
What is that? Okay.
I know, right? So how does your faith play a role in your journey? Your mom is asking that question, I've been told.
My mom could answer this question great, but I would definitely say, my faith plays the biggest part of my journey, because life has all of these ups and downs. And especially in this industry, like I said, you have to have thick skin. And I have learned that whatever God has for me, that's what I want. Because the last thing I want is to step into someone else's blessing that's not for me, or pray against things. I always ask for God's will to be done in my life, because I never want to get off course of whatever my journey is and my purpose is. So when I don't get a role, or I, you know, get very close, or, you know, whatever that down point is, I don't really look at it so negatively, but I embrace it, because it wasn't for me. And I've learned to just embrace that. Okay, that was God saving me from something that wasn't even mine. And so everything goes back to my faith. That's my foundation. And through my journey and everything good and bad that's happened in my life, my family has always, we've come together. We've prayed our way through struggle. We've prayed our way, you know, through hurt, through loss, through everything. That's our whole foundation. So obviously my mom being there and constantly, you know, reminding me and ingraining that in everyone. That's what holds me up in Los Angeles, because it can be very difficult being away from family. It can be very difficult in this industry. You see a lot of things that are not of what I believe in, and you're never wanting to compromise. So I'm always, even in the roles that I take, if it's not something I believe in my faith, I'm willing to walk away from those opportunities, because it's not from me. Once you take a check from something other than God, you are opening the door to all that will come with that. And it's just not worth it. So I never put the emphasis on the money or the fame. I put the emphasis on my purpose and whatever God has for me. And that's the way that I live my life in every aspect, as well as my career. So
that's the best way to live it. This is one of my new favorite viewers, Talana Burns. With so much on your plate, although it's exciting and it's what you love to do, how do you stay balanced, healthy, take time for yourself apart from the work? And then how do you manage your time while working? How do you stay organized?
Oh, that is a great question. It's very hard. I still have to work on my time and my organization. I won't say I have it all together in that department. It takes just me loving what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And I would do it for money. I would do it for no money. And so when it comes to quote unquote work, I live and breathe, you know, and so when I'm not busy is when I'm worried. But really, truly, I mean, I wake up and I get my son ready for school and he's off having, you know, his time. And that's the time that I can do my auditions or I can prepare for whatever interviews and really take that work time for myself. And then after a while, I'm cooking dinner just like everybody else and I'm eating. I love to go to the beach. I love the water. So I spend a lot of time just constantly having to meditate and just really just embrace what's around me and being grateful. I try to stay in the moment as much as possible, but I don't let anything overwhelm me because I feel like I try my hardest and I don't take life too seriously. So stress, you won't really see me stressed too often. I'm a very free spirit. My family makes fun of me a lot because I'm so just like, listen, everything will work out. It'll be fine. I don't get too worked up over things because I feel like everything happens just the way that it's supposed to. And that's just how I live my life. So, you know, still things need always work and you want to get better in certain areas, but I just embrace the great things. Like I said, my son, if nothing else, if I'm not having a good day, I'm with my son and we're playing and I'm with his toys. I'm playing. I'm a big kid all over again. And that helps a lot too.
What is your true passion?
My true passion is inspiring people, entertaining people, and uplifting people. So no matter where I'm at, if I can just simply, if I walk in a grocery store and I'm able to smile or speak to someone, I feel like that's what I'm passionate about. I love making people happy. I love having great conversation, evoking emotion. I love taking different things I've gone through as a truth within myself and being able to share it as testimony with others. So that's just what I'm passionate about. So I think I picked the perfect career. It's like, now I know why he gave it to me. I have so much to give of myself and I really, truly am passionate about that.
Dr. Jordan is saying you look good and how do you stay healthy?
Thanks to my dad, who is
yes.
doctor. He's been my pediatrician since I was little. And I mean, even though he's a pediatrician, my dad still makes sure I'm healthy. So really in our family, we believe in taking care of our health. It's better to know than not know. So if you got whatever going on, you always want to stay on your 6-month checkups and stay healthy and know what's going on with your body and don't ignore it. We didn't go to medical school, so don't assume that it's one thing. Just taking care of yourself. I also work out. So I work out a lot. Just staying active with my son obviously keeps me busy. Just being conscious of what I put in my body. So just different things. I'm not too much of a health craze where I can't eat I have to eat vegan or I have to eat organic. We still enjoy. I come from Chicago. My mother loves pork chops and my mom likes to make fried chicken and I love my Harold's and all that stuff. So, I mean, I just do things in moderation.
Okay. That's the only way to live. The only way to live. No need to deprive yourself.
And my mind. So,
yeah. What was the first moment when you realized you were that you had actually made it? Like, you know, in the quote unquote sense of made it.
I don't really believe that I've made it.
That's something you may not have, you know.
I don't think of myself as, I mean, I still have things I want to accomplish. I still have challenges. I look at my career and I'm nowhere doing all the things that I set out to do. My goal is to obviously bring home an Oscar to Chicago. My goal is to have a production company that's producing projects so I can open up the door for other young girls to come in and do what I'm doing. So in order for me to get there, I feel like I have a lot more work to do. Okay. So I don't feel like I can sit down, kick my feet up and say, yeah, I made it. I'm grateful and blessed for the success. Don't get me wrong. I pinch myself a lot and say, this is really great. I would say TLC probably gave me the biggest moment, you know, where I could really be proud and really feel the love and support and energy of something great I had done. I would say that was probably the feeling of I deserve to be doing what I'm doing because there's ups and downs in this industry. So you work and then, like you said, people don't see when you're not booking and I'm going in for a lot of projects and I'm getting no. And I would have to say coming after, you know, that slump and getting TLC was kind of my confidence builder to say, okay, because you sometimes question yourself like, okay, God, is this really what I'm supposed to be doing? I've gotten all these no's. Should I be looking in other career fields? I don't know. But that was kind of that stamp of approval because it was kind of like, I'm gonna put you through this boot camp. You know, you got to get yourself physically right, emotionally right. I'm gonna give you the biggest challenge of your life, and I'm gonna have people doubt you, and you're gonna have to prove yourself that you are deserving of this. And when that happened, I felt like that was probably my greatest moment. So I could definitely say that I enjoyed that, you know, and to this day, when people say I love the movie, I'm like, I can never stop hearing that enough.
Yeah. Did you ever imagine that this would be your life? Did you see this, or did you, you know what I mean? Like, some people can't even see as great in, you know, like to play T-Boz, you know? You, just like me, I'm sure, grew up with TLC. So
Exactly.
did you see this, imagine this is your life?
I definitely saw it when I was 5. I saw myself on television. I envisioned myself being an actress. No one could tell me anything. So when people would say no, my father was like, when are you going to go to medical school? Rush is waiting for you when this little stage of your life is going to be over. I was like, no, this is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I said, having that focus to leave my family, go to LA, forgetting about the things at that age, what matters the most, which is prom. I mean, we live for prom. And for me to think more of my career, I knew that this is what I was meant to do. So even when people said no, you're not good enough for this or that, I still believed in myself because of the visions that I had at such a young age.
Okay.
So,
and you know what? If you see it, you believe it, you can achieve it. So
Exactly.
And I just had a brilliant idea. I think that Allison needs to write a wonderful show, and then you need to be the lead in the show. I think that's a great idea.
She's done it already. Done and done.
Oh, okay. Let's
we just gonna get it out there. We're just
exactly. Okay, let's get that sold.
That's got to get sold. That's along with our other projects that we're working on. So I got things that I definitely want to do in the future that we just got to get this thing. That's why I say we got a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Got a lot of work to do.
Well, that's great. I'm glad to hear that, because that, I think that, you know, I know that just especially from the Sister Code, you know, panel we went to last night, I know that we are desperately in need of, you know, positive images on the screen. And I know if it's something you guys would do, it would be something positive. And somebody asked the question, what can we do? Well, what we can do is we need to provide positive content.
Exactly.
So if we provide the content, you know, and we support it, that's the other thing. It can be out there, but you got to support it. Exactly. And that's the one thing. That's why I watched the Gospel Music Channel so religiously. I was like, because this was positive content.
Exactly.
And I wanted to make sure that they were able to keep making these movies and keep, you know, doing these shows. And I know, like I said, I know they've changed the name now to Up TV, but now they are doing actual series and docu-series, and, you know, so it is growing. So I'm glad to see that it's growing. So you just have to support positive projects. But we are almost at the end here, but I want to definitely make sure that we say how important it is for everyone to support Sister Code this weekend. Yay. If anyone doesn't understand the industry, understand that the first weekend is the most important. So we need to prove that this is something that we want to see on, you know, on film. We want to see positive images of ourselves. So please, if you can get a group of people, go out and support. Go out and support. It's so very important. Allison said your trainer is watching.
Hi. Oh gosh. I love it. Shout out.
Yes. But yes, it's so important this weekend. Please support this film. We want this film to be #1 this weekend. I have no idea what else comes out this weekend, but please let's support this film and go see Sister Code. And also you have to make certain that your ticket has the right movie on it. You'd be amazed what strange things happen in movie theaters. Make sure that it says Sister Code.
Definitely.
And if you've already seen it in a screening, pay it forward and please buy someone a ticket and send them to the movie. What I used to do, because I go to a lot of screenings, is I'll go to the movie theater and buy a ticket for that movie and say, give it to the next person in line.
Love it.
So then, because if I just saw the movie 5 days ago, I'm not going to see it again, but I'm still going to buy a ticket that opening weekend, but I'm, gifting it to somebody. And several times they're like, are you serious? Like, I'm dead serious. They're like, okay. And I don't even wait to see who, and I don't worry about all that. I just want to make sure that somebody sees this movie, in my place. I've paid for a ticket. So
definitely.
Yeah. So it's important. It's so important. Please support this movie. Everyone, did you hear there's Black men behind the screen? And there's Black women in front of the screen. So we need to support each other and go see this movie.
Please,
So
yes.
we have these quick rapid fire questions. One I do before we get to the rapid fire, because I know you might have an answer to this one that'll be good. Do you have a favorite quote or scripture?
Oh my gosh. Well, my favorite quote, which is actually on my email, is we are judged by not the height that we succeed, but in the depth in which we've climbed. And that is how I live my life. You know, you can't compare yourself or say, oh, well, she's doing more than me, or he's doing more than me, or why am I not at this level, or I'm not where I want to be, and look at someone else's journey and try to see where you are in competition. But, you know, you have to understand that there are people that came from nothing, you know, that have reached, and now they're above ground. And then there are people that had things handed to them and they may be more successful than you, but it's about your individual journey and how much work is to be done in your life and where you're trying to go. So that kind of keeps me grounded on my journey and make sure I'm staying in my lane, because I know where I came from, I know where I started, and I know where I'm trying to go. And that's really all I can be concerned about.
Definitely. I love that. I think that says so much in so little, so few words, but it says a lot.
Yeah.
So finish the sentences. They can be phrases or just one word. The world needs
Love.
I believe in
God.
love is
Kind.
my joy is
My family.
and my job is
To live.
and that's the show. Perfect.
Oh,
Live
wow.
the life you deserve.
Oh, okay.
So that was the perfect line. That is the job. You got to live life today. So that's your job. Everyone's job is to live life, because when you're just moving through life, you're not necessarily living life. You just exist.
Yeah.
So it's so important to live life. So thank you so much for your time this evening.
Thank you.
We'll definitely put links to everything below.
Great.
And everyone is going to go see Sister Code, and you're going to tweet the hashtag Ask Dr. Renee Show, hashtag Sister Code Film or Sister Code, and make sure that we support this wonderful film. If you've been inspired or motivated by anything we said this evening, then I feel much better. My job was done. And please support the show. Tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow afternoon, we are going to be talking to, tomorrow afternoon, we're talking to Tasha Scott. Tasha Scott was in True Beverly Hills. She was on Amen. She was on 227. She was on Star Search. So she's done a lot of stuff. She also is a singer as well as an actress. And she's from the Midwest too. So please definitely watch her tomorrow. She's also got children who have traveled the country with the Lion King. So they are doing the business as well. So she's a momager and an actress and a singer. So it's going to be a great conversation. And then, like I said, Friday, we will have Mos Def's mom, Umi, and that'll be in the afternoon as well. They're residing in South Africa right now. So because of the time, we have to do it in the afternoon. And then Sunday, we have my mommy from Detroit. So, so everyone, please tune in. If you want to watch any of the shows, they're on my website as well as my YouTube channel. And then you can also get the podcast for free on iTunes. You'll be able to hear the conversations that we've had. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a good night.
Good night. Thank you.
No problem. Oh, she's gone. I'm like, oh, she's gone. I was about to say thank you.